What's going on, everybody? It's Cowboy Chuck back for another episode of Squad Basics, helping players learn more about the game, different modes, different functions, things of that nature. This week's episode is going to focus on a game mode that unfortunately is not played enough. In my opinion, it should be played at least once or twice in every map rotation on every server, because the less often you play it, the worse and worse you're going to be at learning how to play it and being successful. And success can be on both sides, attackers and defenders, okay? The best way to think of Insurgency is it's advanced and secure from an insurgent perspective, meaning they know where the cache is, they know where the objective is from a defense standpoint. From a attacker's perspective, you're looking at it from a randomized advanced and secure perspective, meaning you don't know where the objective is. In other words, you don't know where the cache is. So we're going to talk about this from both sides. Okay, we're going to start off as insurgents, right? I've already logged into the training range. I've changed the map over to Al-Basra Insurgency. So there's a couple of key points to understand. As the defender, your cache is going to show up as a blue shield, almost like a blue objective as a defense objective. So you need to defend the cache, okay? Your cache is going to look like this right here. See that big, huge, it looks like 2 or 3 ammo crates with sandbags and things of that nature. I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so as insurgents, you have the ability to spawn either on a forward spawn, like a main base spawn, or on a cache. So if you look at your map right now, you'll notice there are 4 spawn points that are available at the start of the round. You can spawn at main base, you can spawn at mosque, which is a forward main base, or you can spawn directly on the caches. Okay, I'm going to create a squad just to become the cell leader, just so you can see what the caches look like. When you are first starting the match, it is more important to get people in and around the cache and get a spawn point forward. So what you want to do is have your squad spawn in, understand who you're fighting. You are fighting against more modern factions, so they're going to have ranged weapons, they're going to have armor vehicles of some form. So you want to make sure you have LATs, you want to have as many optics as possible, and then also weapons that suppress, like machine guns, where you can create fatal funnels, right? All right, so we're going to spawn forward on the defensive objective, which is the cache. All right, and I'll show you what it looks like. It's in this building right here. All right, I spawned outside of the room. Here's what it looks like right there. You can see it has a radio on it. It has a bunch of weapons, just like a regular ammo crate, but it's got a double stack of ammo. It's much bigger than a traditional ammo crate. Okay? Now, in order for you to defend this, you defend it 2 ways. You defend it with personnel, and you defend it with obstacles or barriers to entry. So, you know this building's got 2 entrance points. This room and this room right here, right? So you know you need to block off those 2 exits. And technically, they can get in through the roof if they really, really wanted to, right? They could pull up a vehicle or land a helo on the roof and drop down right here and still get in. Okay, so there's ways to get in this. This door's blocked, so you don't have to worry about that. So as far as defending this, your immediate concern is to prevent them from even getting to this point. So just like a fob or a hideout, you don't spawn on the hideout and then everybody sits right here and defends this. What you want to do is you want to get people positioned. You want to get people positioned up here, over here, and you want to get a little bit of a barrier around you. You want to get people, it's basically like defending a regular objective on a map. You want to get people spread out around and make sure that they get eyes on your enemies before they get into the objective area. Okay? The way they destroy this objective is very simple. Okay? You'll notice now that the shield marker has just changed to a regular shield, and it's no longer like the fleur-de-lis symbol. Okay, that means that the enemy now has an indicator on the map that lets them know in general where the cache is. So what we're going to do now is we're going to switch over to the attacker's perspective right now and show you what they see. So remember, I'm going to stand on the cache right now. Okay, my position is Fox 723. Okay, Fox 723. Remember that. All right, we're going to oops, hang on. We're going to change. All right, Fox 723. The match is now officially started. All right, so remember, where was the cache? The cache was at Fox 723. Fox 723. It was in this corner building right here. That's where it was. All right. See, for them right here, as an attacker, you only get a general indication of where it is. So what you want to do as an attacker is at the round start, you don't want to just blindly spawn in and start rushing towards the objective, right? Look at who you are. You are in this case, you're the British. You get 2 helicopters. So here's what I would consider doing. Now keep in mind, not every map has helicopters. So you need to think about what vehicles you want to use to try and get scouting intel to help identify where the enemies are spawning at, okay? If you see at the start of the round, maybe what you'll do is you'll take your LPPVs and your 2 helos. Send your 2 helos up with just a pilot and a gunner, right? And then send out people in the LPPVs and just start driving around and flying around and gathering information. Because think of it this way. It's just like Invasion. As an attacker, you only start with 200 tickets. Okay? On maps this large, you spawn in 2 caches at the round start. You always have to destroy 1 more cache as an attacker than what spawns in at round start. So if you spawn in and you've got 2 caches marked on the map, or areas where the cache is marked, you've got to destroy 3 for that layer. On smaller maps, usually only 1 spawns in, so that means you've got to destroy 2. So it just depends on map size. So we're just using Al-Basra as an example. Kohat is the same way, spawns 2 in at the start. You've got to kill 3 in total. Every cache you kill gets you 100 tickets, just like an objective on Invasion. This is, like I said, it's just like Invasion. The only catch is you don't know where the first cache is at round start. The map is blank. You get no visual indicators until 5 minutes into the round. So might as well use that 5 minutes to your advantage. Don't send out 2 lodges full of troops and all of your armored vehicles just going hunting for kills, because you're going to lose the round. They're going to destroy everything and you're not going to have any spawn points. You're better off just doing searches for where things are, looking for enemy activity. If you see enemy activity, up in this area, then within, you can put a file creation mark, that somewhere in that radius, see that inner circle? That inner circle fob radius, that's probably where their cache is going to be. Okay, so that's where binoculars, and you can hop in a Warrior or hop in, a Bradley or whatever vehicle you has or tank that has the optics that can magnify at range. Use them for spotting. Don't push them into the city. Don't even go across the river. Right? Stay north of the river. Don't go across the river with any vehicles until you've got confirmation of where things are. Once you see activity and you can see possibly, them building up sandbags and emplacements, that gives you a pretty good indication as to where the cache is from a vicinity standpoint. So let's use that concept. We know, we saw enemies, like I said, spawn in over here, right? And if we put that fob creation mark in that general area, you can see this circle creates a radius, right? This inner fob creation circle. Well, remember where we said it was. It was at Fox 723. There's where it was right there. Look how close that is relative to where the cache is. Now, the rounds, you've done your flying around, you've seen what's going on, and all of a sudden you see a bunch of activity, right around this area. You see them fortifying, okay, they've got, emplacements here, they've got a rocket SPG over here. Okay, now you can move that fob creation mark into this area right here, and now within this city block, you have a high probability of centering in your focus on where you need to put your attention. Now, as far as attacking, now that you have confirmation of where you're at as an attacker, now you have to start thinking about fob position. So, looking at where the enemy spawned, it's going to be difficult trying to get a fob in this area. If you just push out blindly at round start, it's a risk-reward type of setup. You can potentially get a fob down, but now with the new mechanics of the game, where fob radios cost 20 tickets a piece and you only start with 200 tickets, it's a risk, and it's just something that you have to weigh as a squad leader and or commander. All right, so now that we know this is the general target area right there, we're going to try and push up into this area, and we're going to try and put a fob here. We know that there's something in this area, so what you can do is, have your commander mark, a red circle in this area equivalent to a fob creation, so that you can know that's your focal point. You as a squad leader can leave your move marker there just as a reminder to your squad, this is where we're going and we're focusing. So when you push out of here, you're going to be pushing out this way. Oops, sorry. Remember I said the move marker is this general area. We're going to be moving this way, and we're going to be moving this way. We're going to be forking out, trying to find where the enemies are coming from, because we're looking for two things. We're looking for the spawn point, and then we're looking for the cache. So the painful part of Insurgency is you basically have to check every building, every floor, because it can be anywhere. It can be in an alley, it could be sitting in a field. There's no rules to Insurgency as to where the actual caches can spawn. Okay, so I'm going to go up in admin cam and fly over here. So I know where the caches are just because I'm in admin cam, right? But we're going to show you that as far as getting into the city, it's just like Invasion. Once you get near that river, it's game on, because you're going to be fighting. You're going to have guerrilla tactics where they're going to be having, they're going to have lat kits, hat kits, vehicles. They're going to have their sappers trying to just make your life a living hell, basically. You've got to find a way to get into the city and breach it and establish a foothold. You've got to defend it while still being able to push forward to the enemy cache location. All right, remember, you got a second indicator down here. All right, that indicator tells you that a cache is within, I think it's 75 meters. And keep in mind, you've only got 1 hour to destroy at least one cache, okay? If you don't destroy one cache, it's game over, okay? All right, so we know this cache is in this building, but theoretically, it could be right here behind these trash cans. It could be right there in the open. It could be right here in the back of this courtyard. It can be a variety of places. Now, here it's inside, right? It's probably going to be downstairs, if I had to guess. I've had one sit right here in a room like this. Yeah, there it is right there. So that's tucked away into a little corner. You can see you have clear line of sight from the road. So what would you need to do to defend this, right? An attacker, you know you've got to come to this area because you get that red indicator that you see on the map to the south. Well, you know the cache realistically can't be but so far to the east because the opposing team's main is right there. So that means if it's on this side, it means it's going to be right here in this first row, because any closer you're going to be too close to main base. Okay, so you know based upon where this indicator is, you know that it's basically going to be right in this area. Okay, so attacking this one is actually easier than the one inside of town. You can come over here on the west side using a far westerly southern flank, and you've got multiple opportunities to put in a rally point and a hab to attack this area. Okay, same concept for attacking a cache applies that you use in Advanced and Secure and Randomized Advanced and Secure, and actually just general principles of FOBs within Squad. You want to try and have at least 2 spawn points. It can be 2 habs, or it can be a rally point and a hab combination. Just remember, you still have to defend it. So Insurgency can be a fun game mode. The firefights are intense. Just like Invasion, medics are critical because you have so few tickets to start off with, right? So when you play this mode, don't just, as an attacker, you don't want to just send all your forces forward. You've got to build up some defenses and layered defenses to protect your caches. So you typically have 1 squad spawn on each cache, and you're constantly running Logi supplies to that. But then you need to have at least 1 other squad with a Logi truck move forward and try to get a forward position to defend the city. Because once the attackers gain access to the city, it's going to become more and more difficult to stop them from finding the cache. As an attacker, things you need to consider: not sending the entire team directly into the city, right? Get a helo up, get 1 helo up, have them going forward and scouting, because if they see a helo flying over the city, over toward the southern side, right, the enemy is going to start focusing their fire and trying to engage that helo, while at the same time you can bring a vehicle in on the north side, like either to refinery or northwest suburbs, or even to gas station or something like that. You're trying to get a foothold, even if it's just 1 small corner. With limited tickets, you're trying to minimize your losses at the start of the round until you have an indication as to where the enemy cache could potentially be. So start looking for that concentrated enemy activity, where they're coming from, and that'll give you your first indicators. If you just blindly send out the entire team at the start of the round with Insurgency, you could potentially lose the round before you even get started. Now, the other thing is, whoops, I'm going to die here. I forgot. I'm in local, so I can't do that. All right, so let me go over here and I'll show you. This isn't the way you would do it, but I'm going to just show you how to destroy a cache as a squad leader, right? It's right here in this building right here. Right here. It's right there. All right, so I want to get out of admin cam here just to show you. All right, as a squad leader, you have an incendiary grenade. You have to toss this down on that, right? And I'll show you what it looks like. It's going to start sparking like that. That's how you destroy the cache, right there. If you are out of incendiary grenades, okay, the combat engineer can also put C4 on it and explode it. That's another way you can do it. If the enemy team, the defenders, happen to put IEDs around it to quote-unquote try and boom, that's how you destroy caches, right? Okay, so that's what it looks like. If, as a defender, you happen to put IEDs all around it, thinking that you're going to, magically destroying all the enemies that are, in the general vicinity, but you also blow up the cache, you actually just helped the enemy team. You helped them. So we're going to go destroy this one really quick. We're going to destroy this one really quick just so you can see what happens. So you know you need to destroy 3 on this map, right? So we're going to throw another one right there. Make sure that it'll actually ignite, because I've had instances where, you know, someone threw the incendiary grenade on the cache and it bounced off of it and it bounced too far away and it didn't actually kill it. So you need to make sure, confirm, and go ahead and get a rifleman to rearm you while you can, or rearm off of a vehicle and resupply those grenades, or the incendiary grenades. Okay, so it's just like destroying a vehicle. It does cause an explosion, right? So you can't be too close to it. So 2 caches have been destroyed. It's 20 minutes into the round, and now the allied team has to wait, okay? Now, here's where, from an insurgent perspective, they've already got the next cache. The next cache is already spawned for them. I'll show you. I'll just hop over right here. Boom. And I'll change teams so you can see. So, there we go. So we've got 2 caches destroyed. So as the defenders, you can see 2 more have already spawned in. So we want to make sure we defend those. So we're going to spawn forward on these, right? Now obviously we can't spawn forward, but so much because we quote unquote suicided. But you get the point. You've got to defend this area. Well, look at that cache. Remember what I was saying about where the enemy places their, you know, attack fobs? You know, what if the enemy was able to get their attack fob right here, and their hab right here? They're sitting right on that cache, right from the start. Here's the one thing about Insurgency that's a little frustrating as a defender. The caches are actually there all the entire time. At the start of the round, they're sitting there inside of that building. So if the attacking team spawns in and in the process of moving to their objective area discovers that cache that's sitting there in that room and they destroy it, it counts. So that's a little bit frustrating. It's a mechanic of the game that can be a little frustrating. The other thing that can be frustrating from a defender's perspective is your caches can spawn literally almost directly on top of the previous one. So there are some bugs and nuances to it that can be frustrating at times, but it can be also very very rewarding, because, you know, you could spawn in on this cache, right? And you know there's an enemy hab right here. You can have your whole squad spawn in right here and go attack it instantly. So it's just a question of, you know, do you want to try the game mode? I encourage you to try it from both perspectives, both defender and attacker. From a defender's perspective, you want to put up barbed wire. You can't put up but so much, you know, but you want to put up some barbed wire and some defenses to hide the ability to see, because what you don't want is someone to, hey, oh, wait a second, there's a cache right here. So, you know, you'll probably put like maybe like a machine gun nest or something right here, looking out over this area. So you put the little horseshoe emplacement right here to block that wall, and you've got a machine gun looking this way. It's not a real indication that there's anything in that room. Only thing it does is it tells people that, oh, wait a second, there's a fob in this area. It doesn't tell them there's a cache, right? You're trying to get your hab or your spawn point near here so that you can build up this area and defend it. So just some things to keep in mind with Insurgency. It's a fun game mode, especially when you're playing with veteran people on both sides. It's just like Invasion. The fights are intense. It can literally come down to the last handful of tickets. The fights in and around the caches are just nip and tuck. It's a lot of fun. It can be frustrating, but it's an intense firefight because there's such a congestion of people in a short area or small area. The firefights, the bullets are flying everywhere. It's a pretty cool game mode. So I encourage you to look at it, give it a shot. If you have a bad round, don't just throw it under the bed and don't ever think to play it again. Play it several times over the course of a few months, and you'll start to realize it's a lot of fun as a change up from Advanced and Secure and Randomized Advanced and Secure and Invasion layers that you play all the other times. Territory control, same way. You don't want to play 20 territory control or invasion 24/7, so it's nice to play something different and just change things up and get your mind thinking about things a little bit differently. So hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully this was informative to you. My name's Cowboy Chuck. I stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, typically around 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Twitch. So come on, swing by, and let me know if you want to see some Insurgency, and I'll talk to the admins and see if we can't get our some Insurgency modes set up while you're in stream checking things out. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll catch you next time on stream. See you.